I know I look absolutely crap this morning because I just woke up and had to bring somebody to work. But I just wanted to touch on this whole trauma and borderline personality. I had an argument with somebody this morning. I told them that I was feeling irresponsible and that I was not on top of everything because of the fact that I hadn't worried about something for 5 minutes or, hasn't. I actually said no to doing something. I set a limit, and this morning now I kind of feel like I'm like irresponsible, not taking care of my stuff, and I'm telling him this, and he's like, well, if you ever get to the point of not actually taking care of stuff, I'll just kick your ass, and I'm like, I don't really need to hear that's not the whole point. And he's like, well, okay, so you're being irresponsible. And it's like, no, I feel irresponsible. That doesn't mean that I am. I'm trying to confront a false statement inside my head. And when you actually get to that point of self-awareness and, you start realizing where that false belief system is, just because you feel irresponsible doesn't make you irresponsible. So you're confronting that and trying to rewire that so you can actually function and feel like you're accomplishing something. Because how you feel and how really things are two different things when you're confronting your false belief systems and reality and changing that perspective and changing the way that you see things. And that's what I'm working on. I've been working on for a long time, and it's not easy. But that true support for borderline personality disorder, like I was just going on a rant by myself on what true support for it is. You can agree and you can validate somebody's emotions without agreeing with the statement. And that's the key part to supporting somebody, is the fact that you can validate and understand where somebody's feeling and not agree with how things are. They want to call me so complicated and complex and things like that, but I need that real, honest support and validating how I feel versus agreeing with me. I don't want somebody to disagree with me to agree with me. I hate that. I can tell when somebody's doing that, and you're not helping me. You're making it 10 times worse when you're like, oh, it's okay, or you're not doing that. I know I'm not, but help me validate where those feelings are coming from. Help me ground myself and realize where reality is and where my emotions are. And I know that's such a complex thing for people to actually support somebody with borderline personality disorder, but it's a huge, huge aspect to help us. Because borderline is actually from trauma. Everything we do is a trauma response. It's something that we grew up with doing. Either we're reacting to people in the room because of the fact that their intensity level is triggering us, or we're not even aware of any of our triggers and we're just trigger happy walking around a whole bunch of people, and it's hard because of the fact that everything we do is a trigger response. Yes, it sounds complicated and it feels frustrating to everybody who tries to support borderline personality disorder, but coming from both spectrums of me supporting people and where I've been, it does hit home for me because of the fact that support means so many very specific things. You can't just go around and saying good job, participation points, or, we really want to strive to do better, but if you're just going to hand out participation points, what's the point? We don't want that. You confront us, you be honest with us, be direct with us, and tell us, okay, this is where you are actually doing your responsibilities. Kim, you're getting up in the morning. You took somebody to work this morning. You're getting them their medications. You're accomplishing all these things. So you're obviously not as irresponsible as you feel. And that is validating somebody's emotions and not agreeing with it. And when you have a partner who is a people pleaser or somebody who likes to be all hard, either extremes will not work. Like, you've got to find somebody who is willing to be able to go, honey, this is not true because of this, and state how that person is being responsible, and get them back into that reality state of mind of, okay, this is a feeling, it's not real, I can let it go, and I can feel myself coming back again and getting out of that fog of, I grew up having to worry. If I don't worry, I don't feel responsible. That's a false belief system that I have. Feeling like if I am not taking care of every single person and agreeing to everything, I'm being irresponsible. If I say no, I'm being selfish. That is all emotions that are tied to trauma related and codependency. And getting away from that is taking me a long time. I still feel that fog, but that fog only lasts about a half hour instead of months and years, and telling myself that I'm not good enough, and that thought process, and being aware of how much you downgrade yourself every day. Nobody on this planet I have seen is actually truly nice to themselves. They're sitting around smiling, happy, and they are telling themselves on how worthless they are every day. And I did a group yesterday on resilience, and I was nervous. It was my first group I have ever done. But it was something that I'm very passionate about, of building that resilience, building that self-awareness, building that mindfulness, being able to be in the present moment so that you're not living in worry and stress and anxiety, and being grateful for everything. And I would not be preaching to anybody about anything I have not done myself or do on a regular basis. And I know when I'm in a fog, and I do try to ask for help. And sometimes it's really frustrating because the help that I need isn't there. I actually have to explain to the person I'm with, this is the kind of support I need. Validate how I feel with backing up with facts of why it's not true on how I feel. But even explaining that to somebody has grounded me and made me better. Because even when I'm going through a panic attack, and somebody's going, I don't understand a panic attack. I don't understand how that feels. I'm pulling myself out of a panic attack to explain to a person why and how I'm having a panic attack. Because they can't see it, they don't understand it, they don't feel it. But it puts me in that state of mind of being able to pull myself out and tell them how I'm feeling. Granted, there is a lot of things that are not healthy about that, because you cannot make a partner out of somebody you have to do that with. Okay? But when they're being so irresponsible that it pulls yourself out, because you have no choice but to pull yourself out, fix your stuff and theirs, that depression goes away and you realize on how strong you are. And for a short moment, it does fix everything until you realize that, people have to leave your life and get rid of them, especially when you're codependent and an addict. And you're relying on people to try to fix your problems. And you're realizing nobody fixes them better than you do. And then you wonder why you have an ego problem. I do, to some degree, have an ego problem. I still have a little bit of a false belief system that nobody can do it better than I can. It's still there. There is certain circumstances where I do feel that nobody can do it better than me. And in some aspects, that is true. Because we're all gifted in different areas. And the key factor is the fact that ego and self-awareness cannot live in the same house. And so it's kind of hard to question whether that is all ego when I say that there are some things that I can do that, I can fix my life better than anybody else can fix my life. But there's also that point where you're in control of your life and you can take full responsibility for your life. But people get that mixed up with that egotistical point of view, and everybody has ego, everybody has narcissistic traits. It's how much awareness you have of realizing, okay, if it hurts and it stings to say it, and you have any amount of denial, that is where ego lies. That is where a false belief system needs to be challenged. But if you can say it, and it sounds and it feels and it really hits to the core that it's true, that's when you know that it's not ego. I say that it can sound kind of egotistical, and there's a lot of things that I say that sound egotistical, but it's going back to building that confidence and that self-awareness and that mindfulness. when you can start working on your willingness to improve your life, you do get that confidence in yourself. And you don't downgrade yourself as much. You get the support that you need. You understand what support you're looking for. But all of that came from drowning in 2 feet of water and feeling like there's absolutely nobody around to save you. And that drowning feeling of there's no hope. There's absolutely nobody around who can save you. Everything's depleted. There's no point. It's so excruciatingly painful and hard. And I'm saying that on the opposite side of that, if you work through that feeling, there is confidence, there's hope, there's support. You can see it. You change your lens, you change your perspective. And I am hoping that my videos will help people actually learn how to support a person with borderline personality disorder. And some of the things that we go through that are hardships, and realize that we're not alone and that there is hope. And you can get through this. We're not crazy. We're not dumb. We're not stupid. We are reacting from a trauma-based lifestyle. Growing up with trauma. Growing up with abuse. Living under a house full of alcoholics and enablers and codependents and, you know, and then they wonder why we do all these things and can't make sense of all of it. If you start to tear apart on how we lived our lives, you can tell how exactly we need our support. Me, I raised my siblings. I took and brought my mom through college. I made sure both my dads were well taken care of, and every time they ended up in the emergency room due to alcohol poisoning or any of those things, I was right there. I lost my job, my house, my everything to go and rescue my dads. Because I wanted their approval. I wanted to make sure they were okay. I was in charge of everybody. And realizing over the past few years that they need to take responsibility for their own lives and take responsibility for mine has been one hell of a journey. It really has. And I understand that it is so hard when you're in that mess of feeling like you need to be responsible. You're only responsible for yourself. You're only in control for yourself. And just know that there is people who do support us. There is people who do truly care. And if you can find just one person to make a connection, that connection breaks a lot of chains. So I'm hoping that people can realize that there is a way of validating our emotions without agreeing with us. And it's okay to disagree. Please disagree with us. Please tell us that, you know, whether it's, you know, telling us that we need to fix this, and it's gonna hurt us. In some ways, emotionally, that's okay because you're hitting our ego. And it's okay to hit our ego. We'll either walk away or we'll grow. But we can't grow. We don't even have an opportunity to grow unless we are surrounded by people who are willing to love us with honesty and integrity. And that is like the biggest aspect of this entire video, is we need more people who are honest and integrity to be around us. And I'm hoping this inspires people to be more real and authentic. Thank you.